Hello boys and girls, welcome to the Math Club. In this video we're going to talk about changing the subject. In this question we have a formula and we're going to make k the subject. So the question wants us to make k the subject. It means we have to write the formula as k equals, or put k alone on one side and the other variables on the other side. Now, as you notice here that we have a square root holding the k and the m together. So it means we have to remove the square root first. Now, if the square root is holding the k only and not holding the m, it means I can move the m, which is the denominator, but this square root is holding both of them. It means I have to remove it first. So to remove a square root, it means I have to square both sides. So I'm going to square this side of the formula and this side of the formula. Focus on the steps because they are very important. Now, a square root and a square is opposite of each other. So this one and this one will be removed together. I end up with w squared equals k over m. Now, w squared equals k over m. Now, I'm going to write it here. So w squared equals k over m, like this, and a fraction line so I could know it's a fraction. Now we removed the square root with the square because they are opposite each other, and this square is still here. Now I need the k alone, and the k is divided by m, so I need to move the m to the other side. Because it's divided, it means I'm gonna take it to the other side by multiplying like this. So the answer will be what? It will be m multiplied by w power of 2, like this, equals k. And by that I made k alone, or k the subject of the formula. So focus on the steps. If you have a square root holding the whole variables, you have to remove it by squaring both sides. If the square root is not holding both of them, it means you can remove the denominator with no problems, and focus on moving fractions. You can move the denominator, but you can't move the numerator unless you moved the denominator first. Now, let me show you another question that has the same idea. Here we have b equals a multiplied by the square root of 1 minus e squared. Here we want e the subject. We want to make e the subject. Now focus here, because the square root is not holding the a, it's holding what's under it, which is 1 minus e squared. It means I can move the a with no problems. The a is multiplied here, so I'm gonna make it divided on the other side. So first step, I'm gonna take the a, because it's multiplied, I'm gonna take it by dividing to this side. So I end up with what? Very good. b divide a, like this, and I'm gonna make a fraction line, equals what? Very good. Equals the square root of 1 minus e squared. So here we have 1 minus e power of 2, or squared, and both of them are under the square root like this. As we said, look at the question carefully and understand what you have so you can use the steps, or choose the steps that you want to use. Now we got rid of the a. Now we still have a square root holding these together. It means I have to remove the square root. And to remove a square root, I have to square both sides. So I'm going to square this side here. So this one will be squared like this. And I'm going to square this side. And because this side has two elements, it means I'm going to put a bracket like this. So I know that the whole fraction is squared. Focus on this. If you have one element on one side, it means you can put the power of 2 on top of it, no problem. But if you have more than one element, it means you have to put brackets, so everyone knows that you are squaring these, or all of these elements. Now, after this, because I squared a square root, it means I can remove the square root with the square, like this. This square and this square root will be removed together. And I end up with 1 minus e squared. So I'm going to write what we have here. So we have b over a, like this. And both of them are squared. focus on the steps. You can distribute the square inside and you say b squared and a squared, no problem. But if you don't want to do it, it's okay. Now I'm gonna write bracket here and bracket here to show that the whole fraction is squared. And I'm gonna write square here. After this, we have an equal sign, and then we have 1 minus e squared, because I removed the root with the square. So 1 minus e power of 2, like this. Now, after this, we have 1 minus e squared, and I want to make e the subject. I want e to be positive, but here it's negative. So this step is very important. I have to change the place of the e squared. So I'm going to take the whole e squared to this side here, and I'm going to change the sign. So it's going to be positive. So I'm going to take the e squared like this to this side, and it's going to be positive e squared. So I'm going to write it like this, e squared, like this, and we have plus here, okay? Because I made it positive, so, and this one is positive too. Now, I remove this from this side. I can remove it like this. I end up with 1 here. Now I'm going to continue. So, because I need the e alone, I'm going to take this fraction to the other side. So I'm going to take this fraction, which is squared, to the other side, and I'm going to change the sign. So I'm going to take it here, and it's going to be negative b over a all squared. So I end up with what? Good. E power of 2, like this, equals, focus on the steps and do them one after another. We have 1, and then minus the fraction squared. So b over a, and this fraction will be squared. Don't forget any of the steps or any of the powers that you used, because if you forget one of the steps or one of the powers, it means you'll get a wrong answer. So because this one is squared, I put a bracket like this, and I put the square over here, like this. Now, I end up with e power of 2 here, and all of this here. Now, I want to remove the square. It means I'm going to do the opposite of square, which is square root. Very good. And when I square root, I'm going to square root this side, like this, and square root the other side, like this. And then the square root here will remove the square, and I end up with e equals square root of 1 minus b over a all squared. And this is the final answer, and I made the e the subject here. And this is how you answer a question like this. Focus on the steps, follow the algebraic rules, and you'll get to the final right answer. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.